But then
Yeah, so
I
each
was
one.
looking two answers and I just got
Oh, you plug it back in.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Irene.
Remember, it's, yeah, this is the original equation.
It's going up because it's positive. X-axis is 3.
And I need to make grades.
Okay.
Oh yeah, should actually put the line of sight.
All right, guys. All right. So I did not do this on purpose, but I like that it happened anyway. It's a coincidence that the first answer is 3 feet and the second answer is 3 seconds. You gotta remember what the variable is that you're solving for, what it means. Also, when it says after how many seconds, if your answer is 3 feet, there's a problem. How long does it take you to get here? About 7 inches. So what is the height of the baseball when it's hit? It doesn't start going anywhere until it is hit. So when it's hit, time is 0. No time has gone by. So t equals 0. So to figure out the height, you just plug a 0 in for t. And of course, you're going to get 3. It's the only thing that didn't have a t in it. All the other stuff's going to go away. So 3 feet up in the air. So it could be like t-ball. It's just sitting on the top of a 3-foot tee. It goes. It doesn't start moving until you actually hit the ball. Right? Part B. Now it says maximum height. So I know how to find. And normally it's x equals negative b over 2a to find the x piece. But what acts like x here is t. So, I mean, that x is completely arbitrary. I really want you to understand. There's nothing special about x. It's just the letter we use most of the time. What do they use here? T. Why do they use t? Because it makes more sense. It stands for time. Why would I use x for time? And of course here, b is 96. A is negative 16. By the way, that negative 16, you don't want to know this. Obviously, I don't care that much. I'm going to tell you anyway. That has to do with, I think I told you this once before, it has to do with how much gravity pulls us down. That's why it's negative. That term is gravity pulling us back down so that you throw something up and eventually that negative 16t squared term is going to get it to come back down. That's why it's negative. 16 is actually the right number to be there. That's related to how strong gravity is on Earth. If you did this on another planet, there'd be another number there because the gravity might be different strength. You need to know any of that? No, and I don't care. I want you to know. This formula is actually sort of close to right. And of course, when you do all this, you get 3, but this is 3 seconds. It has nothing to do with that 3. They just happen to be the same number. Who cares? And part C says, what's the height when you're at the maximum? Well, when are you at the maximum? T is 3. So to figure out the height, you just plug a 3 in. I mean, you got to start looking at these functions as physical things. This is the height function. What does it need as an input? A time in seconds. There you go. So if I put a time in, a height's going to come out. So when I put 3 in, blah, 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 blah. What do you guys get?
147.
147? 147 what? Feet. Good. Don't make me be even more of a dork than I already am and make me say, centimeters, light years, whatever. Right? So there will be problems just like that in the homework, which you really should love because they made the formula for you already. That should be the hard part. And then just use it correctly. That's the easy part. Okay. Number 2 is a lot like that beach problem, except it has that part I told you about where they have multiple fencing going up in the same direction. So there's a barn that already exists, and then they put this shape up here. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoop. This is X, 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 and Y. So once the picture's drawn and completely labeled, the tell use equation sets itself up. I have how much fencing? I have 500 feet of fencing, and that's going to go into putting up what? how many of these? 4 of these and a y. Right, not 3y. The whole thing is y. Yes.
So you got 4x because there's 4 lines. And then
So
y.
I really want, if I have 500 feet of fencing, right? And I want to make I got to construct this, and this, and this, and I got to actually cut those out. I got to construct those, right? I got to put those up. So that's 4 x's so far, and a y. That's what I need to construct out of that 500 feet. So the 500 feet is going to make 4 x's and a y.
So it's like the material.
Sure. But it's not. You don't have to worry about any of that.
Okay.
You just have to. This is just like perimeter, except I'm also concerned about the middle parts because I have to make those. So how much fencing do I have to make? 4x walls and a y wall. All right. Well, that's got to equal 500 because that's how much fencing I'm going to use. So that's what they tell me. What do they ask me about? What do they ask me to do? They ask me about area. And this is where, again, if you guys, what is area? What's the area of this shape? X times Y. Now, real quick, I know several of you are not even concerned about this, but just to let you know, we are ignoring the loss of area because of the fence there, right? I mean, I remember, I think I told you a story about the kid. We cut a piece of board in half. Not in half, but we cut it somewhere, and this was X, and this was 10 minus X, and we had to do stuff. And the guy in the back is like, well, you know you lose about a quarter of an inch of wood in the teeth of the saw. I'm like, we're cutting it with lasers, whatever the shit. Math starts off ideal, and then as you learn more math, you learn how to make it closer and closer to all the reality. If I throw a ball in the air, it's not going to follow parabola perfectly because it's going to have drag by air resistance. It matters how fast the wind is. It matters the density of the air. How much does it change as it goes up? And I mean, there's a lot of other little variables. But how closely does it follow? A very simple, pretty damn close. So it's pretty good for estimations and stuff. All right, maybe. So we're ignoring the loss of area due to the fence. All right. Now, let go of all that. How do I use what they told me in what they asked me? What do I do with what they told me? Yeah, I can solve it for any letter I want to, but what letter should you solve it for? I should definitely solve it for Y. Why? And you're like, yeah, Jeff, why? What the shit? Do it. Because if I solve it for X, I have to make a freaking fraction that I shouldn't have to worry about. If I force you to do it, you should be able to do it. But why the hell would you do it? I don't know. Because Y is 500 minus 4X. That's beautiful. No fractions, right? Now, if you did solve for X, you could still get the right answer. It's just going to look a little uglier on the way. So now how do I rewrite what they asked me? X times Y. I like it.
Negative 4x squared.
Good. And then some of you guys are going to start to say, well, let me just put this in the right order so I don't do weird shit. Negative 4x squared plus 500x. And I can make sure you know what A is, you know what B is. So X equals negative, true,
Oh.
500.
negative 500 over
8.
twice negative 4. I like it. So 500 divided by 8.
2.5.
62.5? What? What was this? 500 feet? Feet. So X is 62.5 feet. Y is 500 minus 4 times that. 250. I like it. Now you can double check your dimensions just by, 4 of these plus 1 of those should make 500, and sure enough it does. Some of you guys might notice the total X direction is equal to the total Y direction, like I said earlier. So there is another way to solve these kind of problems using the parts of the thing that goes into which direction. But don't do that. Just do it the algebraic way. If you and that's what that question asked me for, right? You got to go back and make sure. What's the question asked me for? Dimensions. Doesn't ask me for the area, so I'm done. If it asked me for the area, what would I do? Yeah, I could just multiply these together, because that's what the area is. Or I could just put x into this, but I'd rather probably do this, right? Since I have the numbers anyway. All right, how are we feeling about that one?
Better.
Better? Okay, good. That's what I'm always wanting. And now what about the third one? The height and the base have to make 20. So what's that? It doesn't have to be right, Charlie.
H plus B equals 20.
And then they ask me about what?
Area.
And what's the area formula?
Half times H. And BH.
Okay.
It's about that time.
And now I can use what they told me and what they asked me. So there's two basic types of problems. There's a tell me, ask me type of problem, and then there's a first problem on here, that kind of problem. They already give you the equation, and then they're just going to ask you a few questions. You got to plug some shit in, or you got to do the negative b over 2a thing to find the max or the min. They've already made the function for you. You should love those ones. These ones you got to make your own. But this will be 1/2. Which letter do you want to solve for? H, sure. So you get 20 minus b for h. You can make it 0. There you go. How we doing? Okay. Jesus won't help. 1/2 20 times b, so 10b minus
1/2.
1/2 b squared. Some of you guys see the fraction go running. You guys are silly because what's going to equal negative b over 2a? No, b. B is acting like x here. So negative b, what's b? You know,
Positive half.
the 10 over twice a.
Ah,
That's why the fraction doesn't matter, because it immediately, I'm not going to say it always is going to happen, but in this case, don't go running from the fraction. Ain't no fraction no more. So what do you get for base?
10.
Freaking 10. So what's the height got to be?
10.
20 minus 10? 10. That's another way of saying it's part of a square then, if it was a right triangle. So what's the area then? Because that's what they're really asking you for, is the area.
1/2.
1/2 of 100. So 50, what's it, feet? Square feet. Make sure the area is in square units. Volume is cubic units. So forth. Yeah.
So in a problem like that with triangles, it would be squared feet, and then for a problem like number 2, it would just be feet.
Yeah, because 2 is asking you for just the dimensions. Now, if they ask you for the area also, it
Then it would be squared
square
feet.
feet, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that 3 or 2?
I don't know. That's a squared, yeah. This ain't volume, so there's no cubic stuff. Only 2 dimensions, not 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thinking the same thing. So maybe, let me see. Our next test is,
Thursday.
yeah, it's coming. That's right. So
Fast.
let's do this.
Winter's coming.
Do, do,
God.
It's always coming.
Summer just started.
Winter's coming.
That's funny. Right now, I would love to have some winter.
San Diego.
All right, let's do this. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could end now, I think. Just gonna have a lot to do tomorrow and the next day. What I'm gonna do tomorrow then, by way of compromise, I'm gonna give you an answer key for this. All right, because we've basically done probably, this is just sort of a wrap-up review sheet. Okay, so you can do these, I can give you the answer sheet, you can let me know if you have questions, and then we're going to get into chapter 12. We desperately have to get into 12.
Tomorrow?
Totally.
No.
You should know, there's,
Well, it says TBD, and I don't know if we're.
no, it doesn't mean we're not going to do it. It just means I'm going to assign homework based on how much time we have left. Yeah, depending on, yeah, that's why I do that. And there might be a few sections I can cut out if I need to. So that's another reason why I do that. But we're definitely doing stuff out of 13 and 14. For sure. All right. Thank you. What'd you give me? There you are. Sweet.
That is great.
So,
We're not doing all of 12
the
tomorrow.
end of 10, 11, and part of 12 is going to be on the test.
Put it in there.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.